Corinthians what? 2 Corinthians chapter 4.
Okay. Need you to do me a favor, Mr. Christian. If you live up to your title, can you find 2 Corinthians in here? Or my Bible's like so beat up. Yeah. It's like water damage.
I'm not that great at...
It's okay.
Oh, I found it.
See, with Jesus you can do anything. Also, there's a table of contents. 4. Yes, thank you. I usually forget. Right. I'm recording this time. I'm recording.
Oh,
yeah,
you're there.
Okay.
Chapter 4.
So today, I just want to start, most of our days are better than others, but even though we have a lot of great days, there's some bad days. There's a lot of suffering all throughout the world. So, anyone have any examples of just like stuff you see on the news, on Twitter, of suffering? One example I'll start with. Do you want to start? You got it.
Oh yeah, I say this Jamaica camp that I went. Well, not camp. Well, the school I went to, they were running low on water, so that's one thing. It's very sad.
I was gonna say, yeah, I can't see.
ISIS.
Yeah, I was about to say the ISIS.
Oh, that comes with something.
Yeah.
Up to date on the world and stuff.
Anyone else?
Even here at home, like in America, like there's suffering, there's homelessness, obviously, and people are starving when you go to bed. It's just crazy to think like what's going on in our backyard.
Crazy.
Yeah, so like Devin was saying, there's suffering here too. Like for example, I know Caitlin's here. I don't know where she is, but poor thing, tore her ACL.
MCL.
ACL. Or?
ACL, MCL.
You just did not leave any room for it. Like, you just want to destroy everything. It's like, well, I'm gonna do this. You gotta do it right.
Yeah, so
Take out everything. Surprised you just amputate your leg or something.
Caitlin might be suffering physically. She may think like, oh, well, it's not as bad. I'm still alive. Like, I'm not getting persecuted by ISIS. I'm not starving. Like, I don't have to worry about like basic materials. But that's one of the problems that we tend to diminish our pain or sufferings because we think that, I mean, yeah, I'm suffering, but this person has it way worse than us. But when we're suffering, there's two main questions we ask. The first one is, we're just like, why would God let this happen to me? The second is, if God's all-powerful and truly loving, like, and He could just go, boom, like, and fix this, why doesn't He help? So this is where we go into 2 Corinthians. Does anyone have the NIV that would like to read the verse 7?
This is ESV, yeah. I don't do NIV.
Oh, I think you said it first.
No, you didn't.
That guy.
4:7. For who makes you different from anyone else? What do you have that you did not receive? And if you did receive it, why do you boast as though you did not?
Yeah, that's what
This guy. Mr. Hanson over here. That was a good verse to hear. Yeah. He was
Verse 7?
Yeah.
Now that we know y'all are paying attention.
Okay. But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. Sound all right?
That's
You want to keep going? Or?
No, just that verse right now. So, in this verse, he mentions, but we have this treasure. There's two characters, this treasure, and the other character, the second one, is in jars of clay. So, character 1, who is this treasure? So, let's go ahead and go back to verse 5. If someone has the NIV that would like to read that.
So picky.
Okay.
For what we preach is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ is Lord, and ourselves as servants for Jesus' sake.
One more time, if you don't mind.
For what we preach is not ourselves, but Jesus Christ is Lord, for ourselves as servants for Jesus' sake.
Okay, so here it's saying, kind of describes the two characters. That says that for what we preach is not ourselves. So us being in verse 7, the jars of clay, and then he continues, but Jesus Christ is Lord. That would be the treasure that he's referring to in verse 7. And then it finishes, in ourselves as your servants for Jesus' sake. So the treasure is that we might know Jesus. That's just the ultimate goal. Ultimate happiness in life is to know Jesus. So going back to verse 7, he says, but we have this treasure in jars of clay. So a jar of clay is like really fragile, it's breakable, and back in the ancient days, jars of clay were like not valuable at all. It's like common to have one. But what's valuable about the jar of clay is what's inside it, not the actual jar itself. So God has this amazing treasure, Jesus, which is what he's talking about in 5 and 7. Now, he doesn't go and put Jesus in a safe deposit box. He doesn't put him in a museum behind guards or behind glass. But he puts him in this clay pot. And so this is where, like, why would he put God this awesome treasure in a jar of clay? So if someone would like to read 8 through 9.
You got it.
Okay.
8 through 9.
Yes, please.
We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed.
Okay, so in this verse it's talking about like all the problems that we often have, and sometimes it's confused that when we give our life to Christ that he's going to fix everything, like it's going to be all happy and everything will be okay. But in Scripture, Paul turns his life over to Jesus, and he's afflicted, perplexed, persecuted, and struck down. So I don't see any positive words there. So it's not too happy from the beginning. But you have to notice it says we're not crushed, afflicted. It says we're not crushed but afflicted. So we're not like completely ruined. We're just challenged. But instead of afflicted, we're going to use cracked for this case. So the cracks in our life, or the cracks are things we suffer with. Right now, the Christians in the Middle East, their cracks are the ISIS people persecuting them just for believing in Christianity. So you and me, Devin, Katie, Brooke, Sammy, we're just a bunch of clay pots. So now I don't have the resources of clay pots. So please do not judge. This is my clay pot for today. But we all have cracks in them. So
What are you doing? Are you dropping Bibles?
okay. Yeah, you can thank my mom. I originally had a water bottle with a candle inside. And she's like, honey, that would probably burn.
Mama's always there for you.
So I now have a glass jar. So we're all good. Daniel's house. Don't worry about it. So if someone would go to verse 10 and just read until
Oh, you don't have it. He's picking.
comma. So just like the first half of the verse. Would anyone like to read it? Okay.
We always carry around in our body the death of Jesus.
Okay, so what that's saying is we're always carrying Jesus' suffering and dying on the cross with us, and we wonder why didn't God just fix all that suffering that we carry with us if He has the power to do so? So, would you like to read the second part?
So that the life of Jesus may also be revealed in our body.
Okay, so this is our pot right here, nice and beautiful. So.
What is this there? Like there's an animal in there or something. It's really confusing. He's doing a magic trick. Just watch. You can pull a rabbit out of there or something, buddy? What's happening? The viewers want to know.
Just pull a lighter out of it.
I think he did.
Why not a candle?
He needed a lighter though, or a match of some sort. Unless he. Boom. I'm pretty sure he just like summoned Jesus. Just like boom, light fire by Jesus. That's what happens.
Okay, so back to the question, like, why would God allow us to suffer? So right here, this would be like, let's say, this is like no suffering, like our perfect side. Like, often this is what we show to people. Like, yeah, we're all good, we're all fine. But when in reality, on the back side, we have this giant crack in us. But going back to this side, it's back don't worry. Okay, so back on, yeah. So back to this side, you can't see the light coming through. But when you go over to the side with the crack on it, I mean, okay, yeah, I can't completely cover it, but there's light coming through the crack right there in our clay pot. So.
That's
Okay.
playing video. Cool. Cool. I like that. That was pretty nice.
So, since this is true, we shouldn't like resist to hide our crack, not our butt crack.
Okay. That's where we were all going with that, Brian.
Come on, Brian.
Out of all things to say at that moment.
Alright, back to seriousness. Okay.
Okay.
So we should like not be so scared to show the cracks in our life. Often we tend to show this side like all perfect, all okay, but in reality, this is where God shines through. Is through the struggles and sufferings in our life. Peter often says that wounds are the shortest way to the gospel. So it's just important that we don't, like, yeah, we're suffering, yeah, it sucks, but God has a reason for it, and that's all I have. So anyone have any comments or anything they'd like to add?
I would say with the wounds, is like the fastest way to God. It's really true because honestly, if we had everything, it's just like, oh, we don't have any health problems, oh, we don't have any problems at home or anything like that. It's just like, why would we look for something different? It's like, well, say the world is broken, but my life's perfect. So basically, like with the struggles that we experience, as you said, like the cracks and everything, we know that something's wrong. There's something wrong in this world, something wrong like within me, just like with everything in this world. Why am I still recording you? That's pretty funny. All right, yeah. So just everything in this world. So basically, that's how God gets to you in that sense. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, I just think that if everything was so perfect in life, it'd be too easy. You know what I mean? You have to have obstacles in front of you in order to grow personally. Like all your problems, struggles, whatever they are, it's personal growth. And if there weren't anything like that, then like you would just breeze through life and then you would die and it would have no meaning, you know? So having something to look forward to on the other side of maybe like a big, pothole in your way is the light in life, I think. So.
There's like a verse that like describes all those things. Romans. Just keep recording. Because they were talking. Don't hold the bottom though. Don't hold the bottom. Okay. Why is this one doing?
It was like a day I was having a really tough time at home, and I needed to do a lot of studying. And I got out and I went to Java and Chai, just a cafe, and who did I see there? Nobody but Devin Campbell. And like, of course, it wasn't planned or anything, but like, it was a way that God shined the light through, and He helped me out through my struggles. And if I wouldn't have had those struggles, I wouldn't have had to get out of the house and wouldn't have had to go to the cafe, and I wouldn't have had the help I did. But it's all through.
That was amazing.
Anyone else? Yeah.
I have another story where Devin came here.
I was at the knee doctor 2 days ago, and I don't know, I was kind of nervous. I was getting my MRI and everything, and then Devin Campbell was there. And he just walked up and he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, like, didn't nervous, like, everything's gonna be okay and stuff. And then, like, I don't know, just kind of calmed down, just like, okay, like, it's gonna be fine. And, yeah.
I was just randomly hanging out to me.
It's like perfect timing. It's like, I don't know, God told me to go to the knee doctor today. Wait, what was that?
Does anyone else have any other stories about Evan Campbell?
I'm sure we all.
Are you out there recording me for a second? I'm like,
No.
you dirty person. You dirty person.
Okay, well, if that's it, does anyone, last call, anyone have anything?
Devin Campbell related?
Yeah. We'll go ahead and split up into small groups.
Break it up.
Daniel,
Stop.
do you know how many?
Yeah.